Hello and good evening, everybody. Good day to everybody. Evening, day, wherever you're at in the world. You know, I'm not a timekeeper. I don't know everything. This is another episode of the Bodacious Rant coming at you with Burn and Rye. And this weekend wasn't bad movie wise. I mean, we got one that's kind of anticipated, not really. I'll let everybody else decide. For me, I was kind of like, okay, let's go watch it. This is Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. This is the third one in the new franchise of Harry Potter verse movies.
Wizarding World.
Yes, the Wizarding World. Thank you. This one had Jude Law as Dumbledore. Mads Mikkelsen took over for Johnny Depp as Geralt Grindelwald. And featured
Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie
comes
Redmayne
back as Newt Scamander
as the one and only world-renowned magic zoologist in that world.
And, the only one.
Yeah, and then another couple like returning actors and stuff, especially the what's the guy's name from
Dan Fogler.
Dan Fogler, thank you. I really like him in these movies. Actually,
Yes.
he's my favorite character in these movies besides Newt. And yeah, needless to say, it was okay. You know, I wasn't bummed out by it, but I wasn't wowed by it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of the feeling I have, I guess, for all three of these movies so far. You know, that's been one of those things where it's like, yeah, that was cool, but it's like not one of those where I'm like, oh man, that was great. And it kind of, it is a kind of a little bit disappointing, you know, because I loved the Harry Potter movies that came before it.
Well, I really liked the first one. I thought that was a really cool one because, like, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, that was a really big book in Hogwarts and in the original books about, you know, certain creatures in the world. And I was really excited for them to concentrate on that, like expand on the Harry Potter verse through its creatures and its other kind of worldly stuff, just to kind of separate it from the Muggle world or, you know, no-mages, as the Americans called it. But the last two, yeah, they just kind of, it's like they try to do, I feel like they try to do too much with the whole Grindelwald story, like the Grindelwald era, where he took over, you know, because this all takes place, for those of you who don't know, maybe you haven't seen these movies, but they're still worth checking out if you like Harry Potter, in my opinion. This all takes place in between World War I and World War II, so I would say like the 1930s, going to, like the mid-1930s or so. But yeah, I will say this. I love the aesthetic that these movies have, being in that, you know, the almost Prohibition era, like the 30s and stuff, where I love the suits, the look of everything. But for this one, like I said, let's get back to it. This one, it does a good job of kind of expanding on it, but it's almost stuff we knew, you know, from the original like Harry Potter series about like Dumbledore and stuff. But yeah, overall, like I said, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like, oh my god, this I wasn't really looking forward to this. I know it's a little confusing, but that's my gut feeling for this one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a really mixed bag because, as you said, there are a lot of really awesome elements to this. Mostly in like the visuals and the aesthetic. You know, this world that they've created, of Harry Potter. You know, in this cinematic universe that they've made. It's always visually interesting. You know, there's a lot of cool spells and wizarding stuff that's going on, and obviously in these movies we get a little bit more of the creatures that are in and around the Potterverse, and that's all really cool and visually interesting. It's just, for me, the central narrative is very just underwhelming and a little bit scatterbrained, where it feels like this movie, you know, being the third in this Fantastic Beasts trilogy, there are a lot of like narrative payoffs to things that I feel like weren't set up in the last couple movies, where it feels like they really haven't until now realized what they've wanted to tell, like the story they wanted to tell with these movies, because like the first one, you know, was a lot about like Newt Scamander and stuff, and then now we're getting into the relationship between like Dumbledore and Grindelwald, and it feels like a lot of these movies, a lot of things that happen in this movie, they feel like, you know, like almost like the third act of like this overarching story, but it feels like we didn't get enough setup with these characters to sort of like have me invested in this you know, narrative that's going on here. And that's just kind of like disappointing to me, because I really like this world and I really enjoy a lot of these characters, but it's like I'm just not invested in the central the story that's going on in this one in particular, and that is kind of bumming me out because I was like I said, I do like all these characters. Like I really want to know, what Jude Law is Dumbledore and Mads Mikkelsen's Grindelwald, like what their story is. Like the scenes that they have together are really cool, and it feels like I'm just missing out so much on that relationship because to me they haven't really properly set any of that up. So when things start going down in this movie, which is like I said, there's a bunch of payoffs. I'm like, man, I just wish I cared more.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how it was. There was some points where some like certain action scenes or things were going down. And I was like, this isn't like as exciting as it could be. Whereas in the Harry Potter movies, like where we read the books and the movies set it up, adapted them pretty well. It was like, wow, I'm excited. This is crazy cool. And again, there were plenty of cool moments. I think this one finally found it was a better story than the last one. But yeah, like you said, there's just not enough setup for what they're trying to do with this story where it originally started. And yeah, I think Jude Law and Mads Mikkelsen were a perfect pairing of Dumbledore and Grindelwald. I think it was a lot better, more chemistry with them than Johnny Depp and Jude Law in the last one.
Yeah.
And it is in Grindelwald's another great villain in Harry Potter. It just sucks that we're not getting the best interpretation of it, like his story and like the gravity of everything going on. But again, yeah, the cast was perfect. They brought in a couple newcomers. The one I thought of the most was Miss Fine from oh my god, what was it called? Booksmart.
Oh, Booksmart. Yeah, Jessica Williams, Lally, the character in this movie.
Yeah, she was hilarious, and she was a really cool witch in this one.
Yeah, the scenes with her and Dan Fogler's character were. I wish the movies were about them because they had a really awesome like buddy cop dynamic. Like the straight person and then like the funny person. It's like they just work together so well, and it's like I really enjoyed their sections together.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, more of even just like maybe I think it for me, if it wasn't so much didn't start as the Fantastic Beasts and where to find them, but more is about Grindelwald. I think this would have set up a lot better. But when it's like, oh, Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore, Crimes of Grindelwald, it's like, so then where are the beasts then in all this? What the fuck what are we trying to do here?
Yeah.
That's just what's got me. But for me, I would give this movie a 3 out of 5 for sure. Just because it didn't wow me, but I didn't mind watching it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. For like I said, I do like a lot of these characters, and I think the actors did a good job. I just feel like the script really let down a lot of the good work that was done here. Like I said, we have a lot of these characters that I wish I was more invested in, and it feels like the reasoning for a lot of them being there was very thin. So. But yeah, the aesthetics and all that the Wizarding World stuff was really cool, and like you said, I think they found their footing a little bit more in this movie. It's just unfortunate that it came so late into it's supposed to be like 3 out of 5. I think the next two are a little bit tentative after to see how well this movie is doing, but supposedly this is supposed to be the midway movie, and it feels like they're only just.
We're only midway through this. This is the first time hearing it. I was like,
supposedly there's supposed to be 5 of these, and we're in the third one, and I still just like I can't bring myself to care about these characters, and that really sucks. So for me, it is a 2 out of 5. Again, a lot of really cool stuff to like here. If you're a fan of Harry Potter and this universe, I think like Ryan said, you'll come away enjoying a lot of elements in here. It's just I think if you're looking for an engaging story and with nuanced characters and stuff, it's a little bit lacking, at least for me.
That's totally fair, but man, I didn't realize we were trying to do 5. I can understand one more after this, but even the way this one ended is like, okay, we kind of know what else happens after that. So that's definitely not the strongest writing.
Yeah. And that is kind of the problem you have with prequels. You kind of know where the story's going to go. So in order to make a prequel, and especially like a series of prequels interesting, is you got to really get people engaged with the characters, and that's why I feel they're falling short. So it's kind of a big a negative point in that aspect.
Yeah. I mean, time will tell if we do get the other two. I think they should just end at a 4 because it's like they're stretching it out way too thin, like to the point where like, is this even necessary? So yeah, like I said, I love Harry Potter. I love the wizarding world and stuff, but
Yeah.
there's got to be a time you got to look at yourself and say, is this worth it?
Yeah, I think maybe they should they take another look at the creative team. I mean, we have the director David Yates, who did the last 4 Harry Potter movies, and I
Yeah, they were
feel
great.
like and I think one of the things that made those first series of movies successful was that we got a different director, and in every movie up until of course the last 4 where he directed those. I think maybe they need to inject some like fresh energy into these movies to make them a little bit more interesting, because it feels like at this point they all kind of feel a bit samey.
Yeah, I mean, well, we will have to see what happens after this one because box office wise, it's not doing that well. So we're really gonna have to see what Warner Brothers is gonna want to do with this series. But for those of you who saw it, let us know what you liked in the comments. Do you recommend it seeing in theaters? I would say it's up to you. That's a really subjective thing. Like, do you want to see the epicness of this story? Go see it in theaters. But if you're not really aching for it, I don't think you're missing out on much, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is a cool time. It is a fun time at the movies. It's just, yeah, your mileage may vary, depending on how much entertainment you'll get out of it.
Especially with gas prices, that mileage is definitely important.
Yes, true.
But until next time, guys, we got more Moon Knight coming at you this week. We also have 2 crazy movies. Like one of them, I'm super looking forward to as of late, which is The Northman, and then
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh God,
with Nick Cage.
Actually, both of those I've started to look forward to in like the last
super excited.
Couple weeks, just because it's like, man, both the reviews for both these movies are doing great. Alexander Skarsgård is succeeding is coming out as like, oh man, he's a really dramatic and physical actor. I love it. And Nick Cage is back to being Nick Cage.
Yeah, the comeback.
I love you. I love you, too. But yeah, ring the bell, give us a like. Don't be afraid to share us around to keep the convo going. And we'll see you guys for the upcoming entertainment this week. So hope you all have a great week.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
Absolutely. And as always, stay bodacious and keep on ranting.
Adios.